this Nations League roster by Mauricio Pochettino. And guys, this is the first big test since he took over for manager 6 months ago. What are you keeping your eyes on, Jalil?
First thing is obviously Christian Pulisic. He's been excellent with AC Milan. He's in a career year, and it seems like we've said that, year after year with him, as long as he's healthy. But he continues to not only dazzle the fans in Italy, but of course the U.S. men's national team fans absolutely adore Captain America for due cause.
Yeah, I think Josh Sargent, this is a huge opportunity for him. This is a huge opportunity for a lot of players, but particularly that 9 position. Because how can you go and make a statement in these matches? How can you go and be a hunter in front of the goal? Be really effective with the national team, not just with your club, but bring this when there's pressure, when there's new faces, when there's a lot on the line here. And I think Josh Sargent can do it. He just needs to put those away, because the most important thing as that number 9, are you effective? Are you scoring goals? We haven't seen that with him from the U.S. national team, but hopefully we see it this time.
And the number 9 position has been up for grabs for the U.S. And if ever, it's particularly up for grabs right now at this camp, for the reason that either there's a bunch of mainstays that are coming off of injury or are currently injured, like Balogun, Ricardo Pepi, Haji Wright. So it's really Josh Sargent's moment to take that number 9 position.
Yeah, absolutely. To your point, Darian, he hasn't scored for the national team since 2019, but he's cooking in the championship. He's playing very well with Norwich, and he has been anytime he's healthy. For a multitude of seasons, he's hitting the back of the net consistently in England. Now U.S. men's national team fans want and demand the fact that he steps up and takes this opportunity bull by the horns. Simply because if he doesn't, in my opinion, you have Patrick Agyemang, you have Brian White that are lurking in the wings, and they're hungry. And these are 2 strikers in Patrick Agyemang and Brian White who don't need much time. They are looking to be able to just get in moments, boom, can they hit the back of the net to continue to add in their campaign, if you will, where, hey, we need to continue to be involved in major championships, not just January camps.
Why has the number 9 position been so hard to fill for the U.S. for so long?
I think you go back to what Greg Berhalter was doing. The number 9 position wasn't where you were getting goals routinely, right? And previous managers, your Bobs, your Bruces, they relied on your high-profile number 9 positions. And the profile of certain players coming into the U.S. system, from the youth all the way to the full team, you no longer have that big, burly Brian McBride. I remember playing with Connor Casey, who was of that ilk, Eddie Johnson. It used to be a plethora of talent coming through the pipeline for the men's national team, but it's all down to what formation does the national team manager want to play. And for this U.S. side, for the last 4 or 5 years, it's really been getting goals from midfielders and getting goals from wide players. And if you're the likes of Josh Sargent, you have to get a goal, but you have to have that combination play and link-up play, in my opinion, with 2 of the most important players in attack with this national team, Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie. If he does both of those things, then he's our guy moving forward.
When you talk about 9s, though, with the national team, regardless of style, I think it is also down to personnel as well in terms of when opportunities come, how dominant are they in terms of taking those opportunities and being a player that can really lead the line? Because when you look at the era before Berhalter, it was Josie Altidore. For so long, he was the figurehead. And that is not necessarily only style. That is a player saying, look, any single time we need either hold-up moments or big-time goals, it's me. So we haven't seen a striker that is consistently that flag bearer on the hold-up side of things and hitting the back of the net consistently.
I think that's such a good point, because we saw the after effect of Berhalter not putting the pressure on the 9 to be that mainstay goal scorer. So players are watching this. U.S. soccer is adapting, and those youth programs that are coming up to, okay, let's put more focus on the wingers, on the midfielders. How are we going to combine to get goals? Now we're seeing the after effects of that, where, hey, with Pochettino, we need a number 9. Who's going to step up? Who's going to alter their game and add different qualities that are going to be that dependable goal scorer?
And Lahoud, you know how it goes, though, especially as a defender myself. When you are going up against any team and you look at the team sheet and they got 1, 2, 3 number 9s, that can really hit the back of the net with half chances, or they're dominant in their hold-up play, it's like you're psychologically going into the game, you're already sweating.
Yeah, I see in this camp, what I like is I see strikers that have different profiles. And in the past cycle, it was a lot of the same guys, a lot of the same players, talking about hold-up play. These were players that under Berhalter, their job was you hold it up, you dish it out wide, you get in the box, but you're really the decoy runner for the likes of the Pulisic's and the Westons and occasionally the Gio Reynas. What I like is if Josh Sargent doesn't do the business, which I think his time is now, he's shown flashes of that in that Poch match against Panama. I think that was his first match in Austin, Texas. He was involved in the build-up play for the goal, missed a plethora of chances. And the build-up play is one thing, but if he just sharpens up that much, like we see in the championship, then the world is his oyster. But if he doesn't do that, Patrick Agyemang, different profile. Plays between the two center backs. You can play vertical, you can play in the air, you can play for knockdowns. So there are different options, and I do like that.
Somebody else I want to talk really quickly about is Gio Reyna. This is a guy who's not getting a ton of minutes for his club in Dortmund, but had gotten even more minutes for his country in the U.S. How sustainable is that for the long term that he's not getting those big minutes at Dortmund?
I think when you look at Gio Reyna right now, Poch is obviously, giving him the benefit of the doubt in terms of continuously calling him in, even though he's not playing for not playing for his club right now. And we've seen that with a few players, but Poch has also come out with his words and his actions and basically said, for the majority of players, you have to be playing with your club team, and if you are, you will be rewarded. So with Gio, I would like to think that him coming into this Nations League roster yet again, he's looking for this tournament to be an opportunity to get his engine revving yet again and to be confident, because when you look at the historics of this competition, Gio Reyna has been excellent.
He's been excellent, but can he be momentous coming off of the bench? Can he be effective? Have we seen that enough from him? And Poch has even said, we need to push him. We need to understand how he thinks, what he likes. Is coming off the bench enough time to actually do that?
It has to be.
With a World
is
Cup
he going to ride
days away?
I mean, he's done it before in this very competition. You go back to the match against Jamaica, came off the bench to change the match, him and Haji Wright. So it's there for the taking. And I think that we're seeing a Gio Reyna that if he doesn't get it together in this CONCACAF Nations League, if he doesn't get it together in this Gold Cup that comes, I mean, where's his spot in the national team? It sure as hell isn't going to be as a starter. Then you're thinking about who can replace Gio Reyna. He's got to get healthy. He's got to go to a club this summer to get more minutes.
Yes.
And he's got to deliver in every single competition. It just can't be Nations League. It has to be every competition moving forward.
Big questions around Gio Reyna.
McGlynn has appeared in all 4 of Houston Dynamo's matches this season and has recorded his first assist for the club this past weekend. Midfielder Johnny Cardoso, on the other hand, did not feature for Real Betis this past weekend due to minor muscle injury that will prevent him from featuring for the U.S. men's national team's upcoming Nation League matches. Guys, how much of a loss is this for U.S., but what do you guys think McGlynn can bring to this team?
On, Jack McGlynn.
I'm happy for Jack McGlynn. I was impressed with him in the January camp. The goal that he scored, I mean, what a hit. And it probably should have been 2. I forgot the other guy's name that stole the penalty away from him, the newcomer from the Miami area, the Argentinian, who's quite close to Poch, but minor details. But this isn't more about Jack McGlynn. This is more about Tanner Tessman for me. Johnny Cardoso was my pick to be a starter alongside Tyler Adams because of the season he's had with Real Betis, and Manuel Pellegrini is getting the best out of him yet again for another season. Now, if you're Tanner Tessman, now is your time to shine with the U.S. men's national team. This is a player that's a mainstay for Paulo Fonseca in Lyon's midfield, and Lyon, they're my dark horse to make a deep run in the Europa League this season. So for Poch, you are spoiled in ways you weren't before in that defensive midfield or box-to-box midfield position because you have a healthy Tyler Adams. So whoever fills that void, which Tessman is for me, then you have a good USMNT.
Yeah, Tessman has looked sharp. Obviously you have Weston McKennie in there, depending on what formation or where Poch decides to put Weston McKennie. And I like the fact that McGlynn is coming in because it's yet another January camp standout performer who's being rewarded for that. And rhythm is so key. And we've been talking about this, literally been the biggest conversation, or one of the biggest conversations with the national team is it name or is it form? And it's looking like Pochettino is leaning more towards form. And I like that because players always want to be in spots where they can be rewarded. Players want to be able to say, okay, put the benchmark here because I'm going to get here. And then when they do end up doing that, they expect to be rewarded, and duly so. So I like the fact that Jack McGlynn is in, and I expect him to win. And if he gets a chance, he'll affect the game because that's what he does.